Hello and welcome to the podcast stories. Today I have an interesting guest with me who just loves playing with numbers and who doesn't get scared looking at numbers. This is going to be an interesting podcast because I want to ask him what is it that changed his mind and how did he become so fearless in dealing with numbers, which a lot of people are really scared to look at. Please welcome Jose Khalil to my podcast. Thank you, Jose, for giving your time and sharing your thoughts and views on this.
Thank you, Nita, and hi, and welcome everybody that's listening to us. It's a pleasure talking here with you today.
Right. So, before we actually start getting into the numbers, let me ask you, Jose, a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? And a little bit about your journey as a young college student.
Okay, excellent. So I grew up in Colombia. I was born in Colombia in South America.
Okay.
My mom was born in Boston in the United States, and I was raised in Colombia, in Latin America, in South America, actually. And I came to the States maybe 3, 4 years ago, but let's go a little back through my journey to share with you a little bit of my background. So I started school in Colombia. I went to school. I graduated high school. Then I went to university in Colombia. Then I did a master's degree. In university, I did a BA,
Mhm.
bachelor's in business, and then I did a master's degree in neuromarketing, which I completed online.
Mhm.
And well, I started working maybe like 13 years ago, 14 years ago, more or less, in
Right.
different world. I was in the marketing world, in the sales world.
Mhm.
And it was funny because you're asking me about my background in numbers and how did I get started. So it was funny. I started in marketing because I always thought, in university, I was like, wow, marketing. I like marketing. I like how people sell. I love selling.
Mhm.
I had a background. My grandfather comes from Lebanon. He was like a native entrepreneur. So for me, that was what I saw at home. My dad, has never been an employee at a company. He has always been an entrepreneur. And on the other hand, my mom was always an employee, not an entrepreneur. So it was 50-50 chance. And I
Okay.
took the entrepreneurial side of things.
Right.
So I always liked marketing, Nita. And
Mhm.
I like marketing. I like sales
Mhm.
because I thought I was so naive. I thought that being in marketing, I wasn't going to see any numbers. And all surprise, when I started working, that marketing was all about numbers, open rate, click-through rate, all these numbers that you need to analyze and you have to think about. So I love marketing. I actually still work a lot with marketing and sales, but
Mhm.
I started getting into, the financial side of things after a few years. After I understood that being in marketing, it's super, super important for you as well to analyze and have
Mhm.
financials in that marketing, because marketing doesn't just work with nice designs. Marketing works with good numbers. So I jumped into the financial world,
Mhm.
and now I'm here.
Isn't it funny? The thing that you run away the most from is the thing that keeps chasing you until you look at it
Yes,
into its eyes and say, okay, come on, let's do this together. Isn't that true?
absolutely, absolutely, absolutely.
Great. So, yes, now that you said that you were into marketing, and I remember you sharing a little interesting story about your grandfather and how he had a great influence on you to pick up the career or to make certain decisions in your life to where you are today. So I actually want you to share that story with the audience. And also, what is it in marketing that actually fascinated you, to move towards these numbers? What made you change your mind, or what attracted you towards this?
I think there's a couple of things here. So let's start, with the story of my grandfather.
Mm-hmm.
He was a man that left Lebanon 1948
Mm-hmm.
without money in his pocket, without knowing the Spanish language, and without exactly knowing where was he going to land. He took a ship in 1948,
Mm-hmm.
um, and that for me was like mind blowing. nowadays you can take a ship and you have your GPS, you have your iPhone, your Samsung, whatever, and you know that where you're going. Back in the days, there was no phone, there was no nothing. So for me, that was like a huge jump. It was like I always admired that about him, and what he built in the future after a couple of years of working and being super disciplined. I learned a lot of things. Like it's just drive. You have to work towards a goal. What do you want in life? What are you looking for? So that was like the first thing. And the second thing is that I started working in marketing because I didn't love numbers. I didn't hated them, but I didn't love them. It was like, okay, if I have to do some numbers, I'll do them.
Right.
But when I started working in the real world, I noticed that marketing was all about numbers. You gotta add this, you gotta add that. What's the analysis that you bring from all these emails that you're sending? How much are they opening? How many people are they seeing? You can track all of that information. So I started like falling in love with the numbers, because I noticed that when you do marketing and you analyze the numbers won't lie. You send 10 emails, you got 10 people open those emails, 3 people clicked on those emails, that's one sale. So you start analyzing and you see that there is a lot of components there. So that's where I started working with numbers. The funny story also is that I built a company in Colombia. I started working in my company and doing a lot of numbers. I had to do a lot of numbers because details, the costs, the margins, the profit margins, everything. And then when I came to the States, and we're going to talk about that in a second, is how did I end up in financials and credit? Is because I didn't have credit in Colombia. I didn't know about credit. My first credit card, I got it when I was maybe like 22 or 23. I never used credit card. It was always like cash or a debit card, that from a savings account that I had, and my dad or my mom deposit, $2, $3, and that's only you have, the only money you have.
Right.
So I jumped into financials maybe, like 7 years ago, more or less. No, a little bit more, because it was when I started with marketing, let's say 10 years ago. And I started jumping into this part maybe like 5-6 years ago. And when I came to the States, that's where I noticed that financials it's super important, and a lot of people don't know. And I'm not talking that you need to be a specialist in numbers, but helping people with their financials is super important, because a lot of people don't know a lot of things about personal finances, for example.
Absolutely.
So that's how I started like jumping into it. I started understanding, Nita, also that when everything is about numbers. Businesses are not about your heart. It's more about the numbers.
Yes.
Either you lose money or you win money. You could love your business. I don't mean you don't, and you have to do what you really love to do.
Passion for your business.
You have passion, exactly. Yes. But at the end, it's numbers, because you cannot sell a carton box at $1 and it's costing you $2 because you're losing $1, right?
Absolutely.
So you gotta make numbers. You gotta see, okay, if I'm selling it at 1, what's my cost? How can I sell it at 1, and what would be my cost? And analyze and bring all of that information. That's basic.
Right.
So all businesses end up in numbers at the end. That's their reality of business or the life. And when you analyze as well the personal side, a lot of people don't have a monthly budget. Their income, they have money coming in, but money going out, and they don't even notice. I have a friend, actually, a really close friend that I'm actually helping, because he reached out to me maybe like 2-3 months ago and said, like, listen, dude, I'm earning a lot of money, but I'm spending a lot of money, and I don't know in what. And I said, like, seriously, really? And he's a person that has some studies. He went to university, but he doesn't have a budget. He hasn't done a budget, so money comes in, money goes out. And at the end of the month, he has no money. And I said, like, dude, you're wasting a lot of money in a lot of things that you don't need, and stuff that, you don't actually know that you have. So it's interesting how you can start building the financial path for many people. and make them understand the importance of money. Because
True.
yes, you can have 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 sources of income. Amazing. But those 7 sources of income, if you don't know how to manage them well and
Right.
make a budget, the money just goes, because you can have $1 million coming in, but you're
Yes.
spending $1 million on the other side. So at
Right.
the end, you have zero. So that's how I started in the financial side of things.
Mhm.
And now I'm passionate about it, credit and finances.
Right. So what you said, I completely resonate with that because I think over here in India as well, a lot of people go through this struggling, challenging phase where they are earning a lot of money, but at the end of the month, they are totally broke. They have no clue where the money has gone. So they don't know what are the loose ends, where are those pockets where the money is flowing out, and they have
Absolutely.
to close down those pockets. And so, which brings me to the next question. Why do you think it is so important for people to understand and learn and invest? You know, invest not only about money, but learning for their own knowledge, like how should they be investing in terms of money? How should they be growing their money? Because I think um, a lot of people leave that job for the financial planners or these wealth managers who take care of their portfolios. But I think it's equally important for us as individuals as well to have a certain amount of knowledge so that you know where your money is going and where you're putting it up. Whether it's in mutual funds, whether it's in shares, or what portfolios it's going, where is it growing. I think a basic amount of knowledge is required. What do
Correct.
you have to say about that?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I agree with you. Because people, what happens? People are thinking about today.
Hmm.
They don't think about tomorrow. They don't think about 2 years. They don't think about 20 years ahead.
Yes.
So the thing here is that you don't want to work only for today,
Hmm.
but you have to prepare for tomorrow.
Absolutely.
And a huge problem that a lot of people
Hmm.
face nowadays
Hmm.
is that they are not preparing
Hmm.
for when they are old. They're going to be old, right? For
Yes.
for for, for
Yes.
their, yeah, when
Hmm.
they're going to be older. So that's an important thing that people need to understand. When
Hmm.
you're 70 and you don't want to work anymore because you are absolutely tired of working all your life, what are you going to live off? You
Hmm.
need to have an investment. You need to have,
Yes.
money coming in, because you need to eat, you need to pay rent, or you need at least, a place to stay, your house. But your house has basic,
Hmm.
costs, like
Yeah.
such as water, electricity, you
Yeah.
know.
Groceries.
So
Yes.
at least you need to think that from now to the future,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to need a way of living that supports your quality of life as well.
True.
And that's what people are not, projecting themselves. They're like, oh yes, I'm leaving today, I'm traveling, I'm eating. Absolutely amazing, I love that, and I'm not
Hmm.
complaining about that.
Hmm.
But you also got to think 20, 30, 40 years ahead, because if you don't plan right now, when you're 60, it's going to be too late, most likely. And
Hmm.
you don't know what's going to happen when you're 60. What if you have a
Absolutely.
downturn? What
Hmm.
if something happens,
Hmm. Hmm.
2, 3, 4 recessions hit? What
Hmm.
are you going to do? Maybe you have
Right.
no job today, maybe you don't have a job tomorrow, and that's your only source of income. Okay, think about it. Think about it, because it's not easy, right? So that's why I help, people to understand, work with their money, make their money work for them, and not just chase the money, because that's at the end something, as I was telling you before, you can have a lot of money coming in, but a lot of money coming out. So what are you doing?
Hmm.
You could be earning $3 million, $10 million
Hmm.
a month.
Hmm.
Super nice,
Hmm.
but you're spending 10. So at the end, you have zero.
Right.
So what are you going to do? So you could be super rich now, but tomorrow you're super poor. So
Absolutely.
it's teaching people how to invest, what amount to invest, where to invest, different ideas, different options. What do they like?
Hmm.
High risk, medium risk, low risk.
Hmm.
What are they looking for? So, yeah.
Great. I like the thoughts and ideas that you shared, Jose. I want you to share a little bit about your journey, about how you made it to the US, and how did you come into completely into this field? of money into credit, okay, into wealth management. And now that you are kind of living the life of your dreams, which I know there are a few things that you had shared on the call, and there were certain things that you wanted in your life, and now you have them. And now you are also looking to give it back to the society in terms of educating your community and uplifting them in terms of their money knowledge. So I want you to share these stories with us so that the audience also knows, and they can also reach out to you if they want any help with their financial plans.
Amazing. For sure, Nita. So the first thing is that when I came to the States 3 years ago, for the second time, because I lived here 20 years ago and I went back to Colombia. I lived here for 4 years with my family. I came back 3 years ago. I started my credit journey. I had no credit. So I had to start building up my credit. So I started working with a group of people that were super good. Actually, I keep a lot of contact with them right nowadays, let's say. And I started noticing that the Latinos in the USA don't know about credit because, all the Latinos come, they buy cars at extremely high rates. They want to buy a house and they give them a really high rate. They want to ask for a credit card and they don't give them a decent level or amount of available credit in a personal credit card. So I started noticing that it's a common thing from the Latinos that, we don't know about credit, because in our countries, we're not taught to have credit. We were just taught, debit. And it was, for example, in Colombia, until not long ago, until before COVID, we used to handle like a lot of things in cash. I used to work with this, work with that, and pay cash. So I started working 3 years on my personal credit and started, maybe 2.5 years ago, working with the Latino community in the United States. Throughout the United States, I have clients in Texas, clients in Florida, clients in Michigan, New York, North Georgia, North Carolina. And I started working with a lot of them to guide them and make them understand the importance of having good credit. How can you save money? How can you get access to much more money? Because that's something that people don't really understand. What do you mean you're going to get me access to more money? I said, yes, because that's how the United States works. It's a capitalist country. And, they want you to spend money in a good way, in a safe way, but they allow you to, and they will give you much more approvals. So I started working with this, and nowadays what I do is I basically help people. We work together in an initial call. We make an analysis of their personal credit. We jump from a personal credit. Then if they want to join my program, it's like a mentorship program that we have with my team and I. It's a one-on-one session. And what we help them is to build better personal credit, to jump into business credit, because business credit is going to allow them to get much more money, higher limits in credit cards with almost 0% interest in most of the cases. So that's money free that you could be using for an investment in 6 months, 12 months period that, you can have some type of benefit. Of course, after, the 12 months or 15 months or 18 months, you're going to have to pay some interest, but you have 12 months that you're not paying interest on that. So it's a huge benefit because you're saving money at the beginning. Most of the businesses at the beginning, the first 6 months are the toughest ones because you're starting to kick off, to move. So that's something that we have been working on. So we jump into that. The first stage is build your personal credit, then build your business credit, get funding, and then jump into some investments. If you have a business, if you don't have any idea, I guide you. I tell you, listen, there are these options. You can invest in this, in that. What do you want? What do you like? There's different options. You can invest from $100 up to, 100, 200, $1 million, depending on what you're looking for. So we take them on that journey and start guiding them. And a lot of people actually end up thanking us a lot because we also do like a personal balance sheet, let's call it, and we guide them and help them when we see that there is a need, of course, we offer this to them on building their personal budgets, because a lot of them, they don't even know. They don't even know. So they go, oh yes, I spend $200 a month in food. And when you go to see, it's not $200, it's 700 or 800. So they're spending a lot of money. So we build them a personal budget, and we help them and guide them and tell them, listen, you gotta save this, you gotta pay off that debt. That debt is a bad debt. How can you invest? So start putting $100 in this, put $500 in this other thing. And that's the way that they can change their life financially for a better, future. At the end, they're going to be old, and that's what, they want to look after, because they're not 20-year-old. So
Yes, absolutely. So you would definitely ask people to go ahead and invest into themselves so that they have proper understanding and knowledge about money. What do you think is the struggle in terms of the mindset? Why would people not want to invest, or probably not want to take the risk? Because ultimately we are conditioned, I mean, the country that you come from, the country that I come from, even in our schools we are not taught about money. It comes at a very later stage, when we are in college, and by that time half of the people, honestly, at least, do not have that kind of keenness to learn about it. And moreover, we are always raised in such a protective environment that we never kind of feel the need until we go into that risk environment and we learn how the money works for us. So what do you think is the challenges that you face in terms of the mindset of the people when it comes to them learning about money or wanting to invest about money? And what do you think could change, or what is the one thing that can bring this change in their mindset?
listen, I think it's never too late. Usually when you talk to 60-year-olds, 50-year-olds, I tell them, listen, it's never too late to start saving, investing. But one of the things that I think in like affects directly, for example, is that in my country we were taught to save money. Oh, son, you gotta save money. Oh, son, you gotta save money. But I was never taught to invest. So what happens? You can be saving money, but there is a thing, that it goes throughout the entire world, is that your money each year is worth less. So $100, because of the recession now in the States, $100 from a year ago, now it could be 91.
Absolutely.
That's what people don't understand. That's why when recessions come and stuff, people can afford less things with the money that they have saved up. And that happens in Venezuela, in Colombia, India, Australia, United States, everywhere, every single country. Why? Because now every single day, the cost of living goes up and up and up and up. If you give me a country nowadays that the cost of living goes down, down, down instead of going up, tell me, and I want to go and live there. Because of course there's cheaper countries, that's different, but a country that is cheaper each year to live in, give me a name and I'll go and live right now, right? So what we were taught in school, in my family, was you have to save, you have to save, you have to save. But I was never taught that I had to invest. Because if I don't invest and I don't take the risk, my $100 when I'm 50 are going to be worth maybe 10, maybe 20. So the power of buying something is going to be 80% less. So that's one of the things that I love, and I think it's something that we should be telling our kids. We should be telling the youth in schools, in university, because the younger that they start investing, the better the future that they will have, right? So that's something that I think could help a lot of people, not only in Latin America but worldwide, definitely. Because that will help build a better future for them. And nowadays people, they only want to live, now that today. So I'm going to spend all my money today traveling and eating. Okay, but what happens in 20 years when you don't have that money? Maybe you're not a multimillionaire in 10 years. What's going to happen with you? So you got to invest to grow your wealth, and you got to break those barriers. You got to try some different risks Yes, you
Yes.
can lose money, of course. Not all businesses are great, not all investments are perfect. But as I recent in the past days, I've seen like two or three, financial gurus that they always say like number one rule in investing is don't lose money.
Mm.
Beautiful. But sometimes you don't do your due diligence and you lose money. Sometimes, the project doesn't go, I want it, so you lost money. So, but yeah, definitely, you don't want to lose money. You want to always grow it, grow it, grow it.
Mm.
And that's what people, it's a fear. It's a fear because,
Absolutely.
you grow with that fear and you didn't even notice about it. So, yeah,
Mm.
I think it's something that recently people are starting to be, more aware of
Mm.
because of the high cost of living. Definitely,
Right.
definitely.
Right. So, Jose, why don't you share a little bit about the services that you offer so that, if we have any of the audience who is in the US listening to this, can reach out to you for this.
Amazing. Yes, for sure. So you can follow me at Jose Khalil Credito in Instagram. You can also follow me on YouTube. What we do, my team and I, what we do is we help not only the Latino community, but that's our main focus. We also help English speaking people without a problem. We were more than welcome. We help them in guiding them and growing their personal credit,
Mm-hmm.
jumping into business credit,
Mm-hmm.
and making investments. So it's like three phases, and
Right.
it takes, depending on each person, each client, a certain amount of time. Some of them they don't even know about their credit. Some of them they have a really good credit. So we guide them, we teach them, and it's a process, that we always want for them to have as a do-it-yourself eventually. We
Mm.
guide you, we take you through the process,
Mm.
but we want you to learn this and
Absolutely.
how to do it, how to go through it, and how to get your credit in better standing and stuff. So we guide them, we tell them, and then we teach them in all that process that that you can do it 1, 2, 3, or 4 times. So that's a really good investment for your future, so that you can eventually do it all by yourself, and you don't have to pay again, or access to more people or pay more people to help you with all of this and making the investments. A lot of people don't know what a high risk investment is, the risks that are involved. So we guide them, we help them, and we bring them through. I also have a real estate fund in which I bring, when people get access to high quantities of money,
Mm-hmm.
I show them the opportunity. If they're interested, that's an opportunity that they have, and if they want to jump into that opportunity, happy to work with them as well. And that's about it. Yeah. So remember to follow me, YouTube, Instagram. If you have any questions, any doubts, super happy to help you out at Jose Khalil Credito. And
I
that's it.
will be sharing all the details in the description as well so that the people can actually reach out to you. And thank you, Jose. This was actually a very enlightening and knowledgeable conversation. And as you mentioned about all the services that you give, knowledge is all about understanding and then implementing it for your own use. So, yes, it was
Absolutely.
absolutely delightful speaking to you, sharing such beautiful wealth knowledge with me and with people around me. Any last words that you want to share before we say bye to each other?
Excellent, Nita. I think that to close our conversation here, I think one of the things that everybody that is listening to this great program
Mhm.
is always think about your future. Don't only think about the today. Think about your future. Think about your family. Think about your kids, your grandkids, and think how you can grow more your wealth. Because yeah, money comes. At the end, you can have a job, 1, 2 jobs, 3 jobs. Money comes, but you never know when it can stop coming. So building wealth, it's mind changing. It's something that you got to understand, and when you understand it works amazing. It's super nice. And for the young people as well that might be watching us, invest in yourself, invest, because that's how money will grow eventually. You have $1 today, amazing. You have $1 million today, amazing. but tomorrow you don't know if you're going to have that same $1 million. So you want to invest so that you can grow that $1 million into more things, house, a building, an apartment, etc., etc. So always invest. Don't be afraid. Take the risk, because when you break that barrier of the risk, you're going to be super happy. Believe me, you're going to be super, super happy. It's not going to be easy, although I'm going to be clear. The first time it's going to be like, scary. I don't want to do that. But once you break it and you start jumping into new opportunities, it's going to open. It's like, wow, like seriously, I can do this. I can do that. Yes, you can.
Yeah.
So I would invite everybody to invest, to build wealth, to think about the future, not only the today, because today, passes by in a second.
Yes. So I think the trick is to just look into the fear face to face and hold hands and say, let's go, buddy, and let's do this together. Right?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And for the people that are in the USA, build your credit. Listen, you can imagine the great things that you can achieve with your personal credit in good standing, and then building business credit in great standing as well. You can have a lot of things and a lot of opportunities. And that's how people build a lot of wealth, actually, through their personal credit.
True. Thank you, Jose. It was absolutely wonderful, knowledgeable.
Thank
I
you.
just loved talking to you and all the information that you have shared. And I hope everyone who is watching this stands to gain a lot of value from this entire conversation.
Thank you very much, Nita.
I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for you to coming on this show, sharing your knowledge, and giving your beautiful thoughts on this podcast.
My pleasure.
Have a great day, Jose.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.